Hello, this is Sean Colburn from Kidtelligent, and today I want to give you a brief overview of the Kidtelligent system and what's inside. Depending on how you logged into the Kidtelligent system, the first thing you'll see here once you've signed in and input the name of the student is this Kidtelligent Profiles page. And what you'll see here is a place right here. I'm going to go through this example with my daughter Bethany and walk through how this works for her. The first step really is to complete a survey, which is going to explore really the personality preferences of the student and certainly some of the aspects of their personality as we measure it in the system here. So I'm going to go ahead and resume this survey, and really it's going to start right at the beginning and walk through how this works. The first question that comes up is an example of the types of questions you'll see here. There are 40 questions related to personality styles and then one demographic question at the end. So I'm just going to go through a couple here. The first one, my child enjoys learning that is creative and conceptual. That's a yes for Bethany. The second one here, my child uses their head more than their heart when making a decision. I'm going to say no on that one. And so these questions go through as you're tracking through here. The little blocks on the bottom turn to purple for the ones that you've finished. If you happen to skip one, then that becomes a red one that you'll have to go back and finish later. What I'm going to do right now is just pause it and jump to the end so that you don't have to watch me do the whole thing here. So here we are now down to question 38, and you can see as you look at the wording of these questions, they are written as if a parent could go in and answer them. Depending on the age of the student, the parent could do it, or the student could do it themselves, or do it together. When I went through this with Bethany in this example, we did go through it together, and she really helped me answer some of the questions that I wasn't quite sure about, and she could shed some light onto it. I'm going to answer this last question here, number 40. I'm going to skip the demographic question for now, and this will show immediately give the results for the student that you just went through this. I'm going to click on the See My Results button, and what this tells me is for Bethany, the type she comes out as is a Kidtelligent philosopher, and philosopher is one of the 16 personality types in the Kidtelligent system. I can read a brief overview here of what it is, what a philosopher is, and what it means to be a philosopher, and I can look at the different aspects of personality: source of energy, processing information, decisions, managing time. And if I'm not quite sure and I want to see if this may be something that would be more sounds like her, I can change that right here at this point, and it changes the types to one of the other types of the 16 that are available. In my case, when I went through with Bethany, she helped me answer, and we came to this one right here, and this was the answers she gave may have been a little bit different than what I have guessed, but as I read this afterwards, it really is spot on, right on for her personality. So I'm going to confirm the results and then go ahead and move on and jump into the system here. So the first thing I'll see once I click on that button is a message, and this message is just to highlight that what we're doing here is not locking in your child's destiny. This is the only thing that they're ever going to be able to do, is to have these specific interests, hobbies, careers, and so forth. That's not the case at all. All we're really saying is this is highlighting how your child or how your student is naturally wired, some of their natural preferences that they have. But what they choose to do with that, it's all up to them, and how they use their special, unique skills and talents moving forward. So this is just a quick reminder that we're not trying to pigeonhole anybody. So here I have the results, and it shows that Kidtelligent philosopher is the personality type for Bethany. And as I look at what's available, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in and share the different pieces that are here. The first screen is our overview, and it starts off with just a nice short video. This is a 4-minute video that provides some of the highlights, what you can expect at home when learning with others, and it's a nice overview, a nice quick highlight of what it means to be a philosopher. and this video I'm sure is not going to come across really well over a web demo here, so it'll look a bit choppy. But as you get into it, you'll get a sense from looking at this how it will play. Below here is a number of resources and reports that really highlight the different pieces of the Kidtelligent system. We've got some reports, 3 different kinds, which I'll jump into in a minute. We've got some different types of advice that's available, and then the ability to make a plan. And finally, we've got a section here called the Discovery Zone, which is really written exactly for the student to be able, in language that they can relate with, to learn a little bit more about themselves. I'm going to jump right into the reports and give you some quick highlights of what's here. 3 different kinds of reports that we have available within the system. One is the personality profile, the second is the learning style report, and the third is the sports profile. So just looking first at the personality profile, this is kind of the high-level overview of the personality profile for a philosopher. And as we get into it, you can see a little bit more about what's here. If you're more familiar with the 4-letter types that other groups use, INFP is the personality type of a philosopher. And as you get into this, looking at what are some of the things you can expect at home with others when learning activities, you can see the different menu options here. And as you can see, we've got some related resources and tips that are specifically targeted to philosophers that are going to show up right here on the side as you page through each of the sections of these reports. Jumping quickly now to the learning style report, this will start to get into some really in-depth information on learning and preferences for this specific personality type. And sections here we specifically focus on are, of course, the traditional 3 R's, English, reading, writing, arithmetic, and some of the other basics. You can see the sections over here, including mastering knowledge. And then, of course, the learning skills related to the 21st century skill set. We've got critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity, and then independent learning. So each of these sections has a lot of information, some very practical advice, ideas, things that are great for parents, for teachers, counselors, as they're looking specifically at what can you expect from philosophers. And I can tell you a lot of this stuff really hit home for me as I sought to be a better parent and really help Bethany with the learning process and recognizing some of the things which may come naturally well. She may be able to do naturally very well, other things that may be a challenge. A lot of great information here that is useful as a parent or certainly as a teacher. So again, just running through communication, collaboration, creativity, and then ending up here with independent learning. The third report here is a sports profile report, and this is a nice feature that's a part of the system. Sports and activities are a big part of kids' lives these days, and so looking at what are some of the sports that are going to be a natural fit for different personality types. You've got some ideas and some suggestions here. We'll start off by saying, of course, this does not guarantee that one sport is going to be more of a success than another, but this does just give some quick highlights in terms of what can you expect from people with natural preferences in these areas. So learning the game, in the game, coaching a philosopher. So if you are a coach as well, this is an area which can provide some insights to help learn how to be a good coach for the students on your team. So that's the report section. The next main section of the Kidtelligent system is some very detailed, practical tips and ideas, some focused on things you can try right away. We've got hundreds of different tips and challenges and some advice that you can use here. They're organized by category. You can see first tips for at home, tips for when learning, activities with others, and just tips for being your best. So I'm going to go through the learning tips here for a second and show you some of the things that are here. Here are some of the different ideas. Encourage a philosopher to participate in the classroom. Be attentive to the philosopher's attitude towards school. Give philosophers control of when homework is done. So as I start to look at these and explore these, I can click on it, get some of the detail and some better description of this tip and what it means. And then as I look further on below, I can see some related resources from the web that we have available here to also reference that are related to this specific need. So in this case, how to reduce homework stress leads us to a video that's embedded right within the Kidtelligent system. With some, again, this is a short 3.5-minute video about how to reduce homework stress, and it's an interview with an expert here that's also a part of talking about this subject. One of the other interesting and I think useful pieces of the Kidtelligent system is the ability to not only reach out to other resources on the web, but then to also connect with what other teachers and parents are doing for this specific situation. So you can see an object down here which would allow me to enter comments as a parent or as a teacher what works for you. So over time, what you'd expect to see here is comments that others have entered that are then again available to you on this specific topic. So we don't claim to have all the answers, but we love the idea that others can be able to share their thoughts and their ideas as well, and they'd show up here. Off to the side, you'll see some challenges, maybe things that may be naturally difficult for philosophers. Some of them listed here. I'm going to click on this last one, not seeing others' points of view. Again, we'll see with this one some quick ideas, things that can be done in this situation, some additional resources, and then a chance to review some comments as well. Now along the way, as you've gone through and looked at some of the different tips and ideas and things that are available, you'll have the ability here as you're going through to see a little button here mentioning to add to my plan, and what that really is a way to bookmark this idea. If you happen to really like this one and say, oh, I want to remember this one for later, you can click on that and it adds it to the plan. And the plan section over here gives an idea of where it's really a running log of things that I have flagged over time for this student to keep in mind, and I can print this out and click on these and go straight to it as well, so it makes it personalized. The last section here is the discovery zone, and this is the area, like I mentioned a minute ago, was really targeted toward the students and written in language that they can relate to and they can understand. The overview, it just really says right up front, there are so many things that are cool about you and about being a philosopher, and some great affirmative comments here that talk about what's great about each of the different personality types. And then you can get into the area talking about future and gets into careers, and some careers that, you know, over years of research we've seen that people with this personality type tend to excel in these types of careers. Sports, again, this is a shorter version of what was available earlier. Other activities and just some practical ideas for friendships. And so here's some great things that people see about you as a friend, and here's some things that you can do to be an even better friend. Starts to get into some of the ideas and suggestions they could try here. So there it is. It's a quick 15-minute overview of what's available within the Kidtelligent system. So as you can see, quite a bit of advice and resources. So thank you for listening today, and have a great day.